Yeah,
going to the NAM.
I'm leaving tomorrow and coming back Sunday. So for a show. So that's the end of NAM for me.
Ah, too bad.
Yeah,
Well, hey, it's better to be working, and then you did go to CES.
I
So, I
did go
mean,
to
hey,
CES.
my heart's not bleeding for you completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, a little technical difficulties on everybody's side. Please do not speak to the sound engineer. What's going on with that, man?
Well, that's my I could sign that off. It's not working at all. That's me. That's my
Well, there you
computer.
go. Now, I changed all the settings. I changed all of the settings in this meetings for you, David, so that you would have no problem whatsoever logging in and getting into this
And
meeting.
we did it.
And yet you're still having problems.
You got me to log in perfectly, and now it won't. So I don't know what you undid, but you did
Ah,
something right.
well, we changed the settings around. But anyway, hey, before we go any further, let's introduce ourselves. Hey, well, we're meeting with friends, thinking out loud. And this is a 192nd meeting consecutive. So it's better than that Stephen Wright situation where he walked into a store that said open 24/7, and when he went to the guy, he was watching him lock the door, and he says, "Hey, your sign says you're open 24/7," and the guy says, "Yeah, but not in a row." Stephen Wright, one of my favorite jokes by him. And hey, but this has been pretty cool. We have been going 192 times, and which is amazing to me is that people are starting to really like this, or at least we're getting impressions. Would anybody know what it means when you get an impression on LinkedIn? Nobody. Well, good. Basically, from my understanding, um, we've got like what I can't. My notes are not opening now either, which is crazy. So I'm gonna have to wing this. So, but I believe Tina, you got the notes. How many impressions did we get on LinkedIn? Am I here alone?
No, scrolling through looking for it.
Uh, It's right on the top. All right,
Oh,
I'm able to open my
388
notes here.
impressions on LinkedIn. Those are the numbers of times your post, video, or update or article appears on someone's LinkedIn feed.
Hmm. So
Oh,
we're
nice.
so we're getting some traction here, and Facebook and all that other and YouTube. So people are watching what we're saying. So just remember everything you hear today is an opinion. Do your own research, and welcome everybody. So who wants to say something before we get into some of the subjects that I thought that I would bring up today?
Well, I was wondering where David is going for the next few days. What are you up to, David?
I've got Hotel California shows, one in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and one in St. Charles, Mississippi. Two casinos, the Hollywood Casino and L'Auberge. So normally that'd be great, except I'm watching people uh, crawling on their hands and knees because of the ice
Oh,
down
what
there.
were the casinos?
One's called the Hollywood Casino, and that's in St. Charles, Mississippi, and the other one's called L'Auberge, L apostrophe AUBERGE, which is in Baton Rouge.
Oh,
Low
I would go to
bear.
that
Might check the
casino.
weather,
I like that
David.
casino.
You
Well, it's
might
good to
check
be
the weather,
working.
David.
What's that?
You might check the weather.
Oh, I'm about to do that. That's definitely part of what I do before I leave. I just been busy.
So then I guess the gig is still going well, David? They still love
Well,
you and everything?
it starts up again. We hadn't worked since the end of November or the beginning of December. This
Oh, how
is
about
their
that? So this is after the holiday break, basically, your
yeah.
first gig
It's,
back, huh?
we're just starting, and they've got just an amazing schedule. It's just solid work all summer long into the fall.
This is a beautiful story, because if I remember correctly, they were only hiring you as a replacement engineer, right? Didn't they have somebody else
Yeah, the
that
guy broke
and
his leg or something in a falling from a tree or something
Well,
like that, right?
let's start with the fact that Kenny Newman made the initial contact and decided it wasn't for him and told them to call me. And so the
well,
whole
I don't
reason
think
I
it
have
wasn't
this
for
gig
him.
is
I think he was working for Manilow and he didn't want to give that up.
Well, not to mention it's below my pay rate or whatever you call it. But I wasn't ready to take that kind of pay cut.
Yeah.
Well,
David is such
me.
a good negotiator that he negotiated the pay rate to a point where he's comfortable with it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and of course, it's the important thing is I'm having a great time.
Oh,
So
still, huh?
oh yeah, man, it's great. The music is great. They're building a new monitor system. They're going out and getting all new electronics, and they got the QL1, and they got the Yamaha mics, and they haven't gotten the in-ears yet. But we're building racks. I feel like I'm back at A1 again. It's really
Wow,
cool.
exciting.
Yeah, well, George was very kind to me to get me the hardest part of the job, getting him a console, which no one else could get. But now he seems to be happy buying it from everywhere, anywhere he can get it. Just
Well, yeah, he's he owns
Shots
the band,
fired.
so he's not throwing away.
yeah. Let's not try to talk over each other, okay? So because it's hard to hear. Tina, what were you saying?
I was just making a comment.
And I'm sure I would agree with your comment. Yeah. But anyway, it's good that you're working, and I'm happy about it. But the whole point of what I'm bringing up is that you took a gig, you thought it was only for a couple of weeks, and there you are, off and running, and now it seems to be a career move.
Yeah, that guy who fell out of the tree, the sound guy, who's the reason that we got the call in the first place. He took a job at a casino. He's off the road completely now. So,
Yeah.
Is he doing what at a casino? Doing sound at a casino, or?
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Wow, how
here's-
good for him.
Here's an interesting story. I needed some substitutes because I had more than one act, and we brought in Dan Casting, and so he's been doing the act. So now they're doing a cruise from Miami, Aruba, Curacao, Miami, and it's a rock and roll 70s cruise, and it's got all these great acts on it. A couple of the tribute bands, but the real deal, War is on there, and Dave Mason, and a bunch of people, 70s stuff. But when they do these cruises, they bring a monitor guy on, and guess who they're bringing on? Dan Casting. So he and I will be on a cruise together in March.
Oh,
No
that's
way.
wonderful.
You mean the
That's good.
cruise brings the monitor guy?
No, but Hotel California does
Oh,
because
no
they
kidding.
don't have their
Oh.
own gear. They're they have to at the mercy of whatever's on the ship.
Oh, in other words, they aren't allowed to use their own gear.
Right, they don't bring it on the ship at all. They have to fly it down, and it just
Oh.
doesn't work. Because we get on
Oh,
in the
interesting.
middle of the cruise in Aruba.
I see. How interesting. So you and Dan will get to work together on the
Yeah.
act that is like new to you, basically.
Yeah, we'll have
How
a great
about that?
time together.
How about that? Well, that's amazing. Dan and I share birthdays, right?
Oh, okay.
We were both born on the same day, or same
January
probably
14th?
maybe not the same year, but and Bob McCarthy was born the exact same time as me, the same day, same year, same everything.
Cool.
Now, is that January 14th or January 16th? I get confused.
14th is my birthday. You know who else? Dave Grohl was born on that day. You know who else? James B. Lansing was born on that day. You know who else? I don't know.
Well, there's a book that says famous people that were born on your day of your birth.
Yeah, but James B.
My
Lansing.
nephew's birthday
James-
is the 14th.
of what? January?
Yes.
No kidding. That's amazing. So anyway,
Happy
pretty
birthday,
funny.
Happy birthday, Ken.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm getting old. It sucks.
I'm the
So
most
he-
famous person born on my birthday, but that says nothing, absolutely nothing. But
So was
hey,
James
I'm
B-
glad you got some people born on your birthday.
Well,
This can
James
be a
B.
busy
Lansing.
year.
That's James B. Lansing thing. That's funny.
Yeah, Harmon
That's
now.
good. Was he born
JBL.
Martini?
Sorry.
Was he born Martini, not Lansing?
Oh, well, I'm not sure what you mean.
His surname,
I don't know.
Martini, I think. Someone
Wow.
might check
Well,
that out.
There you go. Put a pin in that balloon. All right, here we go.
And you lost me, Wayne, but maybe that's the
He
history of
lost
James.
everybody
James,
there. Don't worry.
James-
That's why I said put a pin in the balloon. You gotta.
No, his
I lost you
surname.
there too. All right.
He was born. I thought he was Martini. something like that, or I might be pronouncing it incorrect.
Well, you might be.
Have to get the history books out and have a look.
Yeah,
what
that's
are you
what I've
showing
got.
there?
See this? See this? That's what
The
I've got.
JBL story. Well, I don't know about James B. Lansing, but I know that JBL put me in business basically. Disney started us, but JBL put us on the map.
See that? It's interesting. JBL is very influential in our lives.
Yeah, I remember it really well. The internet was just getting started. People didn't know what eBay was because it was just getting started. The dial-up service was where it was at. AOL, you remember that? The AOL dial-up service, and
Oh yeah,
AOL
that and
had this.
CompuServe.
Yeah, CompuServe. I remember having my first email. You guys remember what your first computer was?
Oh, I had the
Apple
original
IIe.
IBM PC.
An Apple II.
Yep,
Yeah, it was
I
never an
had an
Apple
Apple
One. so-
IIe.
yeah.
I
Right.
used to repair them in Sunnyvale for 4 years. So I still have it. Serial number 18.
Well, maybe
Wow.
one day that'll be your retirement plan.
and Kenny and I got our computers almost at the same time. He got the 128 Mac, and I waited for the 512. But those were
By the
both
way,
in
this is the
84.
40th anniversary of Mac, of that. Today's the day that commercial ran. Where they introduced the Mac at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That was
it's-
January
wow.
24th, 1984, huh? Wow, how about that?
Yep.
That's
there you go.
historic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's today. It might have been yesterday, but I think it's today. I mean, and now the Super Bowl. Well, the playoffs are coming up, right? So, and Tina's team's in the playoffs right now. The Lions.
Which one is that?
Woohoo!
The Detroit
The
Lions.
Honolulu Blue Detroit
Oh,
Lions.
well,
What do you think the odds are for them?
Well, they're the underdogs, minus
Yeah.
6.2.
They have not been in a playoff game yet, have they?
No.
This is pretty historical for them to make it into the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Good for them. Well, let's hope they do
Yeah,
well.
it's
That's
very,
let's cheer for the underdog.
them. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
unbelievable.
What would be amazing is if they somehow got into the Super Bowl and they somehow won the Super Bowl. Would that be whoa? It would blow Detroit's minds, right?
It's
I'd
like
have to
when
give
the Mets
Tina a
won.
day off. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
good.
I'd have to go to the
some
parade. for that.
bookies will be losing their backside, though, Ken.
2 days off. All right. Oh well. There you go. What could I tell you? But this is a busy year. They just announced speaking of New Orleans, who's going down there, the New Orleans Jazz Festival and Heritage Festival just announced the Rolling Stones, Foo Fighter, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Chris Stapleton, the Killers. There are hundreds of acts. This New Orleans Jazz Festival is April 25th to 28th, and then again the next weekend, May 2nd to the 5th. That's pretty amazing. That is some lineup. And
Sounds like
used
it's
to be
not just jazz anymore.
No. It's the Heritage Festival. But the Stones to go out there and play is pretty amazing. You know what I heard? I saw, and you know how the Rolling Stones came up with their name?
How?
The guitar
they come
player
up?
had gotten Brian Jones. He was on the phone with a club, and he was, they were a brand new band, and they were trying to get a gig, and he talked this club owner to put him in the gig, and the club owner said, "Well, I'll promote it. What's the name of your band?" And they didn't have a name yet, and he was playing Muddy Waters' record, and the first track on one of Muddy Waters' records is the Rolling Stone Blues, and he said, "Well, we're the Rolling Stones," and that's how it happened. Keith Richards told that story.
Wow.
So now you know, if you didn't know. So speaking of, old timers, Billy Joel. Billy Joel is going to release an album now, the first album in 31 years. 31 years.
It'll be
He's
interesting to
opening up
see
for-
how is
nobody's heard it. It comes out February 1st. I mean, I haven't heard it. It comes out February 1st, so I'm looking forward to it. I mean,
Yeah,
I wonder if he will. I wonder if he'll back it up with a tour.
he is opening for Sting at Raymond James Stadium on February 12th.
Opening
there
for
you go.
Sting,
Oh,
or
nice.
Sting is opening for him? I think it's the other way around, don't you? Or
It's
maybe it's a
Sting
co-headline.
and Billy Joel.
Yeah, co-headline, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're both headliners for sure. You know, I mean, Billy Joel has played Madison Square Garden for like ever. Now he no longer. He
Right.
did his last show there, or so he said he did his last show there. You know, it's one thing for an artist to say I'm retiring and then come back. It's not unusual for that to happen. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
how many
you know,
tours?
it's not sold out though. You know, Live Nation starting to discount the tickets.
What was
the
that,
heck happened
Christopher?
with all the blues?
That
I
was
have
cool.
no
That was
idea.
cool. That was cool.
Well, congratulations. That's what it was. You were congratulating somebody. What was the band that had that album, Ghost in the Machine?
The police.
There you
Oh,
go.
Ghost in the
Speaking of
Machine.
Sting.
Really? That's Ghost in the Machine? I thought it was Ghost in the Machine was Annie Lennox. No?
No, Ghost in the Machine was the third album from
Police?
fourth. Sorry. Yeah, it was Outlandos
Oh, wow.
d'Amour, Reggae, Regata de Blanc,
Wow.
Zenyatta
All right. Well, we have a
and,
record historian in the room. I love it.
and then Ghost in the Machine, and then Synchronicity.
Well, I just remember Ghost in the Machine from Pink Floyd, but you know, that's
Oh, I think it's a literary reference. Sting's
Right.
an ex English teacher and is very well read. That's why his lyrics are so fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, and another thing that's really exciting in our industry is Jon Stewart. I don't know if you heard this, but Jon
Yes.
Stewart is coming back to the Daily Show because of this election.
Every Monday night, starting the Monday night after the Super Bowl.
I bet that's going to be big audiences for what is it? MTV? Is he on? No, Comedy Central.
Comedy
Yeah.
Channel.
Comedy
Yeah.
Central. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, hey, and then they're going to have new comedians every night of the week.
Well, they
and
have.
then
That's what they
he'll-
do. Isn't that what they do ever since Trevor Noah left? They have a rotating host, right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if he doesn't make a guest appearance.
Who,
when
Trevor
Jon
Noah?
Stewart comes back. Yeah. And I would be shocked if Stephen Colbert doesn't come back on for at least an episode or two, you know?
Well, I
Right.
got to tell you, yeah, and he's also. I read the press release. He is the executive producer now, and then he's going to come in every Monday. You know,
Yeah.
up until January, the first Monday after January 16th, 2025.
Yeah.
Now, is
Well,
he still doing his Apple TV thing? He had a show
I'm
on
not
Apple
sure
TV that
he
was
has
kind of
that
a
show,
series.
you know. I forgot the name. It's just Talking Out Loud with Jon Stewart or something like that. I forgot what it is.
Yeah, something
what
like
it's
that.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have Apple TV anymore, but I do have Netflix, and Netflix gained 13 million subscribers this last quarter because they stopped that sharing, and Netflix seems to be where it's at. I think it was Netflix that just announced that they're spending a fortune on WWE and they're going to start streaming WWE. Was that
Yes.
Netflix?
That was
Yeah.
Netflix.
They won't be getting my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not interested in that, but they seem to have the best what do you call it, lineup or best menu of shows, sort of.
They
Apple
work
TV.
with they work with very reputable content creators and showrunners.
They
It's
were
a
very
no-nonsense,
smart.
but
They
yeah.
were very smart. They went out and got all that foreign content. I mean, one of their biggest shows was the Squid Games, and that came from Korea. They probably paid nothing for that.
Yeah, they had
Wonder-
that. Then they had the bank heist one from Spain that did very well. And oh yeah, they've knocked it out of the park.
And they
Yeah.
have films like Maestro. I mean, I wonder what the deal was that they made with whoever made Maestro to to get Maestro on their platform. That's got to be
didn't know
serious
that.
money.
I want to see that. That's
On Look on
that's-
Plex. On Look on Plex.
That's Bernstein. That's Leonard Bernstein's the story
Yep.
about
Story of
Leonard
Leonard Bernstein. Right. Played
And the guy
by
that
what's his
played
name?
the guy that played on the Silver Cloud Lining.
Bradley Cooper.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about another thing. NAMM is coming up, so you guys are all going to NAMM. I mean, that's where Ken Porter is right now. He's on his way to NAMM, and Kurt's on
Yeah.
his way to NAMM, and I mean, there's a lot of people. Are on
Wait,
the way
is
to
Kurt
NAMM.
going to NAMM for real?
Yeah, I believe he is, and
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he
yeah.
is going to NAMM.
Kurt here,
Meyer
yeah.
is holding a huge demo for the Panther and the 2100 subwoofer. It's going to be at the City National Grove on January 25th from 5 to 6 p.m. and doors open at 4:30 p.m. So if you're going to be in NAMM, you might want to go check that out. The Meyer
You
Panther.
You got to make it over
haven't heard
to the
it.
Grove. You got to make it over to the Grove, though.
Yeah, you got to make it over to the Grove.
Paid parking.
So,
What'd you say? Big parking challenge?
Paid. On the invite, I'm going to that thing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's at the Grove, paid parking available." So I'm sure it's going to be another $25 or $30 to park.
if you're lucky. I mean, you're lucky, I mean, in Las Vegas, parking's $120 if you go to the Sphere now, from my understanding.
Well, for a U2 concert,
Crazy.
yeah.
It just depends on
And when you pay, they have the
Parking
little tip
changes.
thing on the, so you can tip for your parking spot.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I went to a concert at the new arena in Palm Springs, and I got to say that was pretty cool because the parking there, I paid for it in advance. It was reasonably priced, like $30 or something, and you didn't have to show anything. It read your license plate as you drove in and said, "Oh yeah, you're good." And then the other thing that was great about that venue was all the vending. Well, it would be an insult to them to call them vending machines, but the way that you buy your snacks and things was all self-service outside before you go in the place. It was really great.
What was it? What were they charging on those vending machines?
Like a bottle of water was $6, which is not
$6. Do you know what a bottle of water
I
costs?
know. It costs like 30 cents, but the point is that it was available. It was not exorbitant. It wasn't $20, and it was quick because I grabbed the bottle of water, I scanned it at the self-service kiosk, I did my Apple Pay, and I was out of there in a minute or less. That was great because at an arena like that for a large gathering, you're used to waiting in a line, you're used to paying somebody and having to do all that stuff, the whole transaction. It was so great.
Yeah. By the way,
Did
you
it ask for
mentioned
a tip?
Apple Pay.
It didn't ask for a tip. No, that's funny.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a miracle right there.
Right.
The machine didn't ask. for a tip.
Everything
The guy
everything
that
wants a
builds the
tip. Everything
machine.
wants a
Yeah,
tip. Everything
well,
wants
that
a
was
tip
awesome
these
then.
days.
Yeah.
I'm waiting
By
for
the
the
way-
tips at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, for you guys that have Apple, they have the new iOS 17.3. They now have a new security feature. I mean, that's the big thing. In case your device gets stolen, they have the stolen security feature on it right now. So I've uploaded it onto my phone or downloaded it onto my phone. There's no change in the operating system, except now you have a little bit more security. So if you have an iPhone, you should get that update.
So what are you
17.3.
saying? What's the advantage? What does it do?
Yeah, what does the security do?
Basically, what it does is if somebody looks at your phone, right, and they steal it, they see it, they saw your password, they see it, and now they close the phone. Basically, if the phone is not in a familiar location, you can't open the phone up unless by face. You have to use Face ID, biometrics. You can't just do it with a password.
Oh, nice. And that's embedded
And-
right into the update then.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the
You
other
gotta
thing,
turn
my
it on.
understanding, yeah, and it doesn't affect anything. So I highly recommend that you do it. There's so many YouTube videos to show you how to do it, but it's in the settings. It's in Face ID, Face ID and password, and it's really a simple setting. And if you go down
and
even
if
further,
you try to
you can
change
see
your Apple passwords or try to get into Apple Pay or any of your wallets, you can go ahead and try to make the change, but you got to do it twice, and you got to wait 2 hours between the two.
1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour.
1 hour. 1 hour, is it? Okay, I'm sorry. So if you
Yeah, but
lose
you're
your
right. I mean, it's a
phone-
good security feature for sure. You
Yeah.
know.
That would
And
suck.
that other thing, I haven't used it. What, Fred?
I said it would suck for me because my phone never knows where it is. It seems like it
Believe
always.
it or not, if you go into the settings, over there, there's a location history it's embedded in your phone, and it knows where you've gone. The phone knows where you are, but it doesn't. From my understanding, it doesn't get sent anywhere. It just lives on the phone. That's the difference between Apple and Google. Is everything on the iPhone lives on the phone. It doesn't live in the cloud per se, unless you allow it to. Whereas everything you do on a Google phone or an Android phone gets beamed somewhere else. So anyway,
but
that's
80% of the time my phone doesn't know where I am. If I want to go get an Uber from my house to the airport, it'll try to take. And I was in Los Angeles yesterday. It'll try to take me from Los Angeles to the Phoenix Airport. My
okay.
phone's
So what you probably have your location services turned
No,
off on that.
No, they're all on. They're all on. It's just a stupid iPhone that gets stupid updates. Every time you buy an iDevice, when you first get it, it works perfectly. And then you start getting operating system updates. And it's fucked from that point on. Excuse my language, but I hate it. I absolutely
No, I'm
hate
glad. I'm glad it's now, the show is called Embarrassing Moments. Yeah, what can I say? I've just been embarrassed. But I think really seriously, I think the reality is that, it's like we've kept this show pretty clean, and yet nobody talks like that in real life. Actually here in Thailand, I speak to Bo. Bo hates when I use the word fuck. She just hates it, absolutely despises it, and by the way, just an FYI, speaking of that, I read an article about how the middle finger became the fuck you symbol, and it comes from ancient Greece. Ancient Greece. I don't know what happened to the story, but Tina, it's in the notes somewhere. But anyway,
Probably
that's
right
what
up
came
there
out.
with
How
hummus.
ancient? What part? AD, BC?
I don't know. I'm looking for it right now in the notes. Let's see if I can find it. If I find it, I'll come. Oh, here it is. It's right underneath the many travelers on the airline safety video. But the middle finger is the most controversial digit, thanks to the ancient Greeks for that. And we've got the link for that. So, do you see it, Tina? You can
I'm
throw it in
looking.
the chat.
Okay.
It's there. It's right under the rocket has taken flight. By the way, that Pettigreen spacecraft, just an FYI, that's the end of that story. And then now we're not going to the moon back until 2026. And that Japanese rocket that landed on the moon seems it's already lost power. I mean, the moon's becoming like a junkyard for NASA and all the space, of all the space exploration that's happening from all the countries. It's crazy, that we're littering the moon now as well.
Not to mention all the space debris right now. It almost is like as it was depicted in the movie Wall-E when he left Earth.
Yeah. I mean, they now have to. Now they're trying to pass some law internationally that if you send the rocket up, you got to be responsible for the debris that it causes.
So at least the U.S. NASA's got a conscience, because when that moonshot was going to fail, they turned it around so it burns up in our atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, it did burn up in our atmosphere. But you want to hear something amazing? Speaking of burning up, that plane situation in Japan from last week?
What happened?
A plane was on the runway and another plane crashed into it and it burned up. But all the passengers, the Coast Guard, it was a Coast Guard, Japanese Coast Guard plane. 6 people lost their lives that were in the
Wow.
Coast Guard, right? But all of the people on the plane, got off safe. So
Oh,
something
I
like
remember
200 and
that. All the
something,
Coast Guard
right?
people died, right?
Yeah.
It turns out that they're saying that many travelers avoid the airline safety videos before their flight, even if they rely on humor or cameos from celebrities. But in the aftermath of the Japanese airline crash, inline safety videos have become universally praised because, as David will tell you, people in Japan are very, finite. They're precise, and so they watch this video. It seems like everybody watched the video, and that's what they're saying, because they watched that video. It saved their lives.
Good.
So my question is how many people in this room watch that video?
I do.
I know I don't.
I always do.
And I count the number of rows to the nearest exit,
Oh,
especially on long
that's
haul.
pretty wise, Greg. But I could say I definitely listened carefully to the explanation, but I'm not sure I would be able to do it in an emergency because it's going to be like, what is happening? What? And
then
it's
I
going to be
always
pretty panicked.
check under my seat. Oh, I'm sorry. I always check under my seat to make sure that my vest is under there.
Well, if you need that
Oh.
vest, it's you might as well be kissing your ass goodbye when you
a
bend
lot
down
of
to
times they're
look at it.
missing. Some people do steal them, so you should always just put your hand there just to make sure, just as a precaution. You never know.
Tina, you're in Vegas. How are you gonna? Is the plane gonna crash into Lake Mead or what?
She's allowed to fly outside the country.
Yeah, I mean, hey, remember Tina came from Oakland. She's she knows where.
Oh, okay.
I mean, hey, and she, talk about thievery. So everybody here knows about In-N-Out, right? In-N-Out hamburgers, right?
Oh my gosh.
In-N-Out has been for decades, has never closed an In-N-Out, and they're going to close their first one. And where are they closing it? Oakland, California.
California.
And
Because
what
of the
reason? What
crime.
reason are they giving? Crime.
Security.
Getting robbed at the drive-through.
Is that where they?
That's horrible.
Is that where they started?
Well, they started
there's-
someplace in Southern California, I'm sure.
Baldwin Park.
Right,
Yeah.
there you go. Because I
Yeah,
did the
but-
gig with the the owner or CEO or whatever she's called. That company is run by a woman.
Oh, the granddaughter that they
Right.
Yeah, she inherited all the stock. She's
Inherited all.
She's the only
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
She was the only one.
And isn't there on every cup there's some sort of religious expression somewhere hidden on the
Yes,
cup?
there is. There's a Bible verse.
It's
Yes.
not hidden at all. It's right there.
Where on the cup is it, David?
Down around the bottom. It's around the bottom of the cup, and it's right. And it says whatever that is. I'll get it for you.
Anyway, it says the burger chain in a statement, despite taking repeated steps to create safer conditions, our customer and associates are regularly victimized by car break-ins, property damage, theft, and armed robberies. That is unbelievable. Oakland is becoming like the Wild Wild West.
The
Well,
whole Bay Area.
it started
so.
in San Francisco with when he said that they couldn't arrest anybody for stealing out of the CVS or the Walmart,
Mhm.
Walgreens, or any store there.
That's nuts.
The mayor.
That's just
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. Hey, Kurt's here. Kurt, are you on your way to NAM? Are you in Los Angeles or Anaheim right now?
Unmute him.
It's a different environment,
There
but
it
with
is.
him, you never know.
Talking to me?
He's such a master. He's such a master with Photoshop. I don't know where he is. Where are you?
This is actually Chris Cooper's kitchen in San Francisco.
Well, that's not NAM.
No, I'm not at NAM yet. That's tomorrow.
Chris Cooper's kitchen.
So how long are you going to be at NAM, Kurt?
That's not where he is. He'd use that
I mean,
photo.
once you get there, how long are you going to be there?
Well, I've got to go through Iceland first, and then
Yeah,
then
little toasty.
I'll be there Thursday afternoon, and then leave Sunday afternoon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I would love to meet you in person if that becomes possible.
Yeah.
Go
We
into the chat, Kurt.
Yeah,
Go
ping
into
me
the
your
chat
your number
and
and I'll
direct
text it.
message Kenny with your phone number. Or Kenny, you go into the chat and direct message Kurt with your phone number, but direct message it.
Oh, we have
Unless you
each
want
other's
everybody.
phone numbers. I have his phone number, so
Right.
Oh, that's right.
How you
text
feeling,
Talking
Kurt?
about some consoles. Yeah. So I'll just.
How you feeling? You get over the cold?
It moved out of my chest, but it's like now it's just like taking forever to leave. It kind of almost felt like COVID brain today. Like I think I made 2 or 3 wrong turns trying to go someplace I already know where it was.
Yeah.
I had to go demo some subs in a church, and then I had to go drive up to another place to pick up some other stuff, and traffic was hell because it's raining. And you'd think the people in Seattle would know how to freaking drive in the rain, like of all places. Sorry, I'm a little grumpy. Got a headache, spent all day in traffic.
But now you're
Have
in
you
San
been eating
Francisco,
any of
huh?
that lab-grown meat?
No,
that
no,
could be a problem.
I'm in Greenland,
Oh, I see. Okay.
Iceland.
All right.
Well, here's an interesting story, and David was the first person to tell me about this in the namage and the naming of Iceland and Greenland. David, you want to talk about it?
I don't remember what I told you.
Well, Greenland's
told
icy
me
and
that-
Iceland's green.
Yeah,
Well,
he told me that they changed the name, that Iceland picked Iceland because it was nice, and it was something about like Greenland was really pretty, or Iceland was really, so they changed the name so people wouldn't go there because they thought it was ice.
Well, they didn't want anybody coming over, so they named Greenland the green place Iceland and the good place Greenland. Fooled them.
So we
Yeah,
need to change
fooled
the name
everybody.
to
Fooled me
Seattle,
too.
keep all the LA people out.
It's kind of like the rumor that it's always raining in Seattle, right? Yeah, that's just a rumor to keep people away from Seattle.
Yeah, Bob Newhart's sister started that.
So speaking of Bob Newhart, they have now a new blood test that's looking really promising that will be a cure for Alzheimer's.
Bob
To
Newhart
screen
didn't
for
have
Alzheimer's.
A detection of Alzheimer's, not a cure.
Oh, it won't be a cure.
It'll be a
Bob
detection.
right there on the deck.
Now there he is. Yeah, what's he doing on that deck?
Lighting the barbecue, I think.
Ah. So anyway, I was asking you, are you in your cooking? Are you using any lab-grown meat? Because I hear that that's now going to be the new thing. That last year the U.S. became the second country after Singapore to approve the sale of lab-grown meats.
Yeah, it costs more to produce than regular meat, more energy consumption.
They're
It's the
saying
new-
that it's going to be a $25 billion business by 2030. Unbelievable. I would be afraid to eat lab-grown stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
So lame.
Soylent Green.
Exactly.
Soylent Green, yes,
So-
Jordan Heston. Yes.
Well, speaking of eating meat, there's a series on our favorite streaming platform, Netflix, called "You Are What You Eat," and it's an interesting study that they did with twins. And since twins, share the same DNA, they said let's do an 8-week test. We'll have one of the twins eat a diet of meat based, and the other a plant based diet. And so I'm just like 2 episodes into it, but so far it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
There was a Zappa
speaking of-
record, You Are What You Is.
Yeah, speaking of twins, I was listening yesterday on the drive back. We were in the car for about 9 hours, and I was listening to this guy named Shokar, who is a psychologist, and he had this woman on who was the foremost expert in memory. And what she says is that most people, 2 people could do the same exact experience, but they come away with it from different memories. And when you talk about the past, like you're with somebody and you remember when we did this, And they say actually that people will have different memories. And even if they didn't do it and you put it in them in such a way, they might imagine that they did it. And what they're trying to prove right now, that eyewitnesses of crimes are the worst possible way to find out if that person actually did it, because the memories can be so skewed. Like, for example, this is what they did. They interviewed these people and they gave them 3 scenarios, right? And before they did that, though, they talked to their parents, their friends, they got permission. And one story they made up. One story was completely made up. And when they told them the made up story, they said, "Oh yeah, I remember that," you know, and their memories of it, they had created memories in their mind because they thought it had happened. And so, um, if you ever do something where they need an eyewitness, just remember that eyewitness might not have been so eye for you. There you go.
So what's better, a video recording of something? I wonder.
Videos don't lie unless it's I mean, if you could prove that it wasn't it edited
Yeah,
or
how do you prove
artificial
that?
intelligence.
Yeah,
You
how
just
do you
have to
prove
make
that?
sure it doesn't have Kurt's signature on it.
That's it. There you go.
Did you hear about the AI, Joe Biden robocalls?
Yeah, I didn't. I just saw the headlines. I didn't read the story because it didn't
I
interest me.
listened to the call, and it sounded just like Joe Biden saying some things that he never said, and I was like, how do they do that?
Well, I think it might
Oh, it's
actually
easy.
be
You could
Joe
do it
Biden's
yourself.
It might be his voice, and it's just samples of his voice saying different words. Like when you talk to the computer and the helpline when you're trying to get to somebody, and it'll say things.
Right.
I think that might really be Joe Biden's voice, just
Okay.
being played back, saying words that he never said in that order.
In that order. Okay. Yeah. I
If
mean,
you
it was
have an
very
iPhone,
smooth.
you
It was
could
very
do that
smooth.
yourself. You could have Siri talk to you in your own voice.
Seriously?
Wow.
Seriously.
No thanks.
You can. You have to train. You have to train the iPhone. I don't remember exactly how to do it, but I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's. You just got to Google it, and yeah, you could actually have the iPhone talk to you in your own voice.
It has you read a bunch of phrases, and then it samples your voice that way.
Now, by a bunch, how many you think?
I did it. It was about 30 or 40.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like
interesting.
20 minutes.
That's interesting. How about that? Can Alexa do the same thing?
No.
Because I use
As far as
Alexa
I
a
know,
lot
as
more
far
than
as I
Siri.
know, they can't. That's a different thing.
Most
What
people hate
happens-
the sound of hearing their own voice, because we don't really hear our voice the way other people hear it because of all the all of the
You hear our inner head
nuances.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you could program somebody's GPS voice to like be their ex-wife or ex-husband?
Yeah, well, what I was thinking was if I can get my Alexa to be my voice, and then when I die, it's still I'm still here.
You could still order blue tape.
You're right.
Yeah, wow, that's a morbid thought. Yeah,
but hey, there's one thing we're all gonna do: pay taxes and die, right? So
I can
Yeah,
just hear
that's
it
true.
now. Hey, Kenny, turn on Netflix.
right. Yep, that's it.
No, it's interesting. You say that. I have a voicemail of people. People leave your voicemail, and I don't usually delete my voicemails. And then there are voicemails I have of people that have died, and I hear their voice. It is freaky, and of course, I mean, but you listen to music of people that are dead, and you don't think, well, there's a dead guy singing to me, or maybe you do.
So
Depending on how
here's
morbid
one of
you are.
those. Let me take a quick poll. Maybe even just you and Kurt might want to weigh in on this. So on the Tom Petty channel on Sirius XM, they often play Tom Petty introducing the songs. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm an old deadhead, so I'm used to listening to people who've been dead still listening to
introducing their songs. Yeah, I mean,
well, they didn't
it's
really
one
do
thing.
that.
It's one thing to be singing their songs, but introducing songs and talking about, oh, we went to this place and we went to that place and that band was great, that kind of
a
stuff.
little weird.
It's
Probably a lot weirder.
definitely it's definitely
Probably a lot
weird.
weirder for Robert than it is for any of us. But
I like it personally is because it's something that happened. It was in there before. You know, it was he actually recorded it while he was alive, and he was telling about that deal. I mean, it's just a repeat of whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay, I think it's kind of creepy myself, but
was that channel on before he died?
oh
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, long.
So it's not like they just assembled a bunch of stuff from.
Oh, nothing like that. No, it's totally. He did these shows, and he talks about the music that he's playing, and he's funny. You know, he talks about what's he Fred? He talks about the studio where they do the show, the greatest sounding studio in LA or something like that.
I don't have Sirius, but I have heard some of the when I'm around people who have that, and I have access, or if I'm in a rental car and I have access to Tom Petty radio, I'll put it on. But yeah, when he was alive, he would tell these stories, and they were awesome. I mean, it was like the bones of being in the lair.
How long before all of these technologies converge between the AI and the video mapping and all of these other things, and we actually get new songs with holographic people on tour who've been dead for 20 years?
Yeah, and listen to this. My brother.
Like, how far away were we really from that?
My
It was
brother.
like we're
works
on
in
the verge of that happening.
Frank Zappa already did that, and that was long before this AI revolution.
Yeah,
Didn't he have
my
hologram-
brother works in the TV industry, and they can actually take actors, and this happened. They had a show where they had somebody that was available to do the role, but was too old. And they just went ahead and used him, and then they gave the video, the digital recording to a service, and AI made the actor look younger, but it was a 20, I think in real life, the guy is like in his mid 20s to late 20s, and they made him 13 or 14.
But it seems with predictive algorithms, like it's almost like we're to the point where you could take like someone who improvises. Could you take Jerry Garcia, sample his tones, make a database of his characteristics, and then introduce elements from the remaining members playing there would be a mathematical formula for how he would have likely responded to that improvised chord that Bob Weir played, or that piano lick that Brent Midland played. So it's like, how far really in the future is new music based on databases from old performers playing together?
Not far away.
I think it's here. I think it's here right now.
You know what's not here right now is me. I gotta go. I just realized it's already 6 o'clock. I gotta go. But wow, great seeing you all.
Before you go, I want to say one thing because you brought it up. StoryCorps. I just put a link in the show notes. StoryCorps is it was TED and I believe Smithsonian, and basically what you do is you interview your family members, like while they're still alive, and you could save it for posterity's sake. So if you have grandchildren, you could play the story. I wish I had that because I have no idea what my family heritage is, except we were Neanderthals, and sometimes I still think I am. I don't know.
Yeah, I seem to remember seeing an ad for that on Instagram. Is that what you're talking about?
It's a free service. It's a free service. I believe now TED is involved. I think that the TED it's let's see, launch with support of the 2015 TED Prize and the John S. and James Knight Foundation. And so it's our free app, puts StoryCorps experience entirely in your hands. But I'm pretty sure that StoryCorp is from NPR and from the government, from the Smithsonian.
Have you seen the thing where you can suspend grandma in a block of lucite as a coffee table?
Oh my! Well, on that note, I really gotta go. But great seeing you guys.
That should have been my show title. By the way, guys, send me emails with show titles. So that's it. So we could talk about it. All right, Kenny. See you later. Thanks.
Have a great week, Ken.
I'm gonna have to go as well, gentlemen. Have a nice evening.
Well, thanks. Thanks for coming. Anyway, let's go offline. Let's just say goodbye to everybody. Let's say thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we appreciate your support. Remember to click the like button, share this if you think it's worthy of sharing, which I do. So, and by the way, I will send everybody in the room the AI notes. So if you missed it, you could at least read about it.
Oh,
Read
great.
all about it.
I'll be the guy
And
that
with
wants to put grandma on a block of lucite in my living room. Perfect.
That's right. I would like. Is it your grandma or mine? That's the question. And do I have to
late.
dig her up?
Too late for mine.
That's it. Mine too. So we'll have to dig them up, but they won't look like grandma anymore. But that's about the size of it. Anyway, listen, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, you make it happen. We're going to stay in the room. So if you want to be part of the panel, just DM me or send an email to anybody you know in the room, and they will send you an invite as well. Remember to share it. Click the like button. That's it for us. We'll talk to you again next week. Remember, you make it happen, and stay safe and stay healthy. And until then, bye-bye for now. And we are off the air.
David's in.